Hi, this is Sean Duffy. I'm filling in for Rory today on Track by Track Reviews. You may have recognized me from me and Rory's review of MGMT's last album, Congratulations, and the Arcade Fire's The Suburbs, which is just like last 2 weeks or so. Today I'm doing a solo review of a band who I've found through animal collective covers on YouTube, actually. The name is Oleena, and it's a self-titled album sort of EP. It's a pretty short album, 7 songs, 25 minutes or so. But it's really an interesting album, I'll tell you that. When I first listened to it, it really hit me that this is the album that I would really be liking. And what's great about our artists like Oleena is that it's not like a big thing. This isn't the next big thing on like Pitchfork or a Gorilla vs. Bear blog or any of the blogs really. It's just something I found myself through YouTube or whatever, and you find the album and you become really connected to it because no one else knows about it, and you try to spread it. You just kind of build this deep connection to it. But let's get on the reviews, shall we? The opening track on the album is called Swimming Story, and by far, this album is the least straightforward song on the album. And this song really gives you a nice introduction to some of the great production that is in the album. Because I think that's really what ultimately makes the album, is a really amazing production. This is a good example of a band that I'd say is influenced by Animal Collective, but doesn't copy off them like other bands, which I will keep from saying the names. But Oleena does, is she and it's her brother who does production for the album, I think. They take how Animal Collective might approach music and then translate it to their own style. And in Swimming Story, it kind of builds. It's a really interesting build, actually, with lots of textures and acoustic guitar, which I guess would be the main instrument that carries through most of the record. It really draws you into the album. If you're like someone who just likes just simple and straight to the point type of song, 2-4 minute song, then you're kind of screwed. But if you're a more, I guess, open-minded listener, and I think this will really draw you into the album. It's almost kind of soundscapey, and there's little bits like vocal samples and almost like bleeps and bloops but with vocals, and it's really cool, really interesting melodies and creative use of delay. But at the same time, I think the song isn't loose enough that it bores you to death. It kind of keeps you interested and draws you in, like I said. And the song, if you broke it down, got rid of all the texture and rhythm or production, it would just be very simple, but at the same time, the layers in the song is really complex. And I think that's something that really, like I said, about 10 times it draws you into the song. The second track on the album is called Asleep at the Wheel, and this is a much more song in the traditional sense. Less soundscapey and abstract as Swimming Story. But it has very catchy vocal melodies and lyrics, and carries on with the texture that you found in Swimming Story. But something that it builds on that kind of was introduced in Swimming Story, but really comes out in Asleep at the Wheel, is the interesting production on this album. And I think that's one of the, when I talk about production, the main thing, besides the texture, I think that really makes this album such a standout album is the really just awesome, production. He doesn't just oh, here's a beat that sounds cool, I'm really happy with the whole song. He really blends it well with the guitar and the song, and the structure of the song. It uses it when it's not just when it's necessary, but when it sounds good. And it's not just there to keep the beat. It's something that drives the song. In the song, which, like I said before, there is some interesting vocal samples in the first one, but this one really introduces some, like, almost like, if you know the artist Pogo, who does like remixes of movies using vocal samples and samples from the soundtrack that create whole songs. It almost reminds me of Pogo took a song sung by Oleena and took her voice and just cut it up and made it into his songs, and that really comes off as interesting to me. I think this is a good moving point from Swimming Story, which is really sensitive to this song, which brings it to more of the traditional song. Then the third track on the album is Island Cottage, and this is probably one of my favorite tracks. That and Little Army are probably pretty stacked for the best track on the album, I think. There's only 7 tracks, so you can only say so much, but this song just has really awesome vocals, and very interesting melodies and harmonies and things of that such. But this is more similar to Swimming Story, I think, than Asleep at the Wheel. And definitely actually has structure. I like Swimming Story, which is very loose. Once you're done with this element, or the song, it builds with the percussion. And this one is pretty much like, takes a basic hip-hop rhythms. How it's arranged, it just is not at all hip-hop. It's like tambourines and bells and very more like, you know, percussive instruments you'd find in a elementary school, like music classroom. The next track is Cold White Sheets / Empty Beds, and this is kind of a turning point in the very short album. It's changed emotion wise. The first 3 tracks are very abstract, so you know I can only make out every now and then the lyrics, but I get the sense that this song is a change in emotion. I feel there's definitely a change from more of the happier parts, I guess, from the first 3 songs to this song. But it's more like a Sleep at the Wheel in the more traditional song sense, and by far it's the most lyrically driven song. I can actually make out most of the lyrics, and it's almost like a westerny feel with the guitar and all the vocals, really, and I don't know, it just gives me this westerny feel. And I think by far this is also the least delicate track. This isn't just some small little girl singing the song. I think this introduces that that it's not just some small girl singing, it's someone who actually has a very strong voice and strong songwriting abilities. The next track on the album is the shortest, and it's an instrumental interlude, I guess. It's pretty much all, it is all just piano, I think. And it is interesting, and it works very well in the context of the whole album, but at the same time it's not something you're going to go back and listen to. Like, oh, my favorite song, but which is the name of the song if I didn't mention earlier. It is good, and I really like the piano in it, but at the same time, like I said, it's just an interlude, so you can only say so much about it. And from you get into the second last track, Little Army. This is the complete opposite of And. It's the longest stretch of the album. It has a really cool build-up in the entire song. And again, like I said, really interesting production. It's again the drums and percussion bounce off the guitar and the structure of the song. This is really a wonderful track, I think. It's very catchy. It is the most repetitive track, I think, but at the same time, it's really catchy, so you kind of get one with the other. As if you saw me and Roy's review of Suburbs, a song like Ready to Start has a very, repetitive chorus, but at the same time, it's repetitive because it's really good, and I think the same thing applies here. start the album is LOL. No, not LOL. It's LULL. Thank you very much. LOL is a pretty short track, not as short as but it's only like, what, 2 minutes? I meant 44 seconds. The piano is it's in there, but it's very background to very, I guess, sad sounding vocals. I think overall it is a good ending to the album, be it a short one, and I think just closes the album off very nicely. It leaves you wanting more, but wanting more in the sense, not like a negative sense, like it's fulfilling, and it makes you want, wow, I can't wait to her next album, and just see where she takes this. Overall, the album is really, really good, and it really does, or at least it did for me and some of the other people I've talked to about it, hits you first listen, like, whoa. Like I said like 10 times, the production does make this record, and you have to give credit where it's due to her brother, who did the majority of the production, I believe, on the album, who goes by the name Felix Green. I know he has some stuff on MySpace or something somewhere. I haven't had a chance to check it out, but if you did the production as much as I do, you probably will want to. And as great as the production is, I still think the songs stand on their own, and it would still be enjoyable. Maybe not as much enjoyable as they are on the record, but really, I mean, the vocals really paved the way for the beauty of the record. Yeah, this is something you would want to listen to through really good speakers or really good headphones. This isn't an earbud album. It's something that you really have to close yourself off and enter the world of the album. And it's short, so not that bad. And I really like it, so another thing that's really interesting about the record, and I've said it a million times with the production, but it mixes digital sounds like vocal samples and cutting it that make it sound like pogo-ish or whatever, but also mixes it with like a very organic sound, like with the guitar and other vocals. That kind of remind me almost of Campfire Songs by Amber Collective. But at the same time, it's not just a copy of Amber Collective Campfire Songs. It mixes it with something that's really unique, and makes it into a really enjoyable sound. It is a short album, to say the least, but it's still really enjoyable, and I'd never it builds itself up in such a way that even though it does come to a end, I wouldn't say it's abrupt. Overall, I'm going to give this album, I think I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10, just because it does have such amazing production on it, and I'm starting to build a connection to it since I did find it myself, and not many people know about it, and it's a really just kind of a unique little album. You can go listen to it on her Bandcamp website or whatever, and it's pay your own price, so hey, why not? At least check it out, I mean. And if you check it out, you don't have to worry about, like, oh, I'm broke, if you actually pay for your music. Not that I illegally download. But seriously, check it out, pay your own price, whether it's, $5 or $0, I can guarantee you're gonna enjoy it. This is Sean Duffy, signing off.